Good afternoon, Noetic listeners. My name is Holly Holt. I have decided today to bring your attention to another of the well-loved Romantic era poets by the name of Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge, born the last of 10 kids, per the Poetry Foundation website, was painted as one who expressed feelings of ennui, unworthiness, and incapacity, which persisted throughout a life of often compulsive dependency on others. This dependency, I believe, is really what kept him with certain friends, hooked on opium for a while, and in a marriage that he didn't want to be involved in, one he was actually pressured to start in the first place. Known most for his poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, he, along with William Wordsworth, was also one of the Lake poets. So before I delve into the poem for today, I want to focus a bit on who exactly the Lake poets were, and whether, because one has to wonder, any of them actually wrote about a lake. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the Lake poets were any of the English poets William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Robert Southey, who lived in the English Lake District of Cumberland and Westmoreland, now Cumbria, at the beginning of the 19th century. These three were considered the key figures, yet, per Wikipedia, they were associated with several other poets and writers, including Dorothy Wordsworth, Charles Lamb, Charles Lloyd, Hartley Coleridge, John Wilson, and Thomas de Quincey. And yes, for starters, Wordsworth did indeed write about a lake in his poem composed by the side of Grasmere Lake in 1806. However, this poem is not what I've chosen to discuss today, nor is it anything about a lake. But who knows what next week will bring. Anyway, the poem I chose today, Duty to Surviving Self-Love, is one where the poet talks about change, specifically the change that the world and those in it undergo, while you do not. Before I begin my analysis, allow me to read the poem. Duty Surviving Self-Love by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And sort of like a subtitle, we have The Only Sure Friend of a Declining Life, a soliloquy. Unchanged within, to see all changed without, is a blank lot and hard to bear, no doubt. Yet, why at others' wantings shouldst thou fret? When only mightst thou feel a just regret. Hadst thou withheld thy love or hid thy light, and selfish forethought of neglect and slight. O wiselier then, from feeble yearnings freed, while and on whom thou mayest shine on, nor heed whether the object by reflected light return thy radiance or absorb it quiet. And though thou notest from thy safe recess old friends burn dim like lamps in noisome air, love them for what they are, nor love them less, because to thee they are not what they were. I will not lie, I have read this poem several times, and still find the meanings of each line to hold a world of truth. Being one who naturally analyzes after a first reading, to let the flood of words uplift my soul, one thing you know for sure, this poem, much like any masterpiece of creative expression, has layers. So the first three lines, unchanged within, to see all changed without, is a blank lot and hard to bear, no doubt. Yet why at others' wanting shouldst thou fret? We see the change in the world around us, in the scope of land and its people, and there are times when these sights weigh down our hearts. How many times have you heard the expression, don't let so-and-so get to you? We do, even if we don't want to admit it sometimes. Imagine you had an argument with someone you love over something you didn't do, and they left your life. There's often a feeling that they have changed, and yet you can't help but tear through yourself, wondering what went wrong. This feeling, this void, is definitely a blank lot and very hard to bear. But Coleridge is saying that we shouldn't let others' wantings becomes something for us to carry. The next 3 lines, then only mightst thou feel a just regret, hadst thou withheld thy love or hid thy light, in selfish forethought of neglect and slight. These lines continue to paint the image of not allowing others' wantings to bother us. If you had not given your love, your light, only then would you have something to regret. As long as you are giving the fullness of your heart, there is no reason to think that you were selfish or neglectful. You gave all you could, and that should be enough. If it isn't, don't let the one who leaves feel as though they won. You are who won, who remains unchanged and full of love, and still as much you as ever. The next 4 lines, O wiselier then from feeble yearnings freed, while on whom thou mayest shine on, nor heed whether the object by reflected light return thy radiance or absorb it quiet. You presented your light, your love, and let free your full truth. Don't worry yourself over whether the love you have given is returned by another, because you gave yourself with your surest effort. So heed not whether what you presented to the one you love is reflected back, to shine the same light upon you as you gave to them. And don't concern yourself with the way in which your light is absorbed. Your light is your light, your soul, and to stop being yourself because you worry what others will think will only dull what is fully you. In the last 4 lines, and though thou notest from thy safe recess, old friends burn dim like lamps in noisome air, love them for what they are, nor love them less, because to thee they are not what they were. People change, places change, love doesn't. By that statement, what I mean is that there's always going to be some part of you that will always love those you have loved before. Yet, love is not a weakness. Love requires strength to start, just as much as it does to keep holding on. Love your friends, your neighbors, for they are on this earth with you. They are human, just like you. They bleed and break, just like you. Shine your light and be confident in the light that radiantly brushes forth from within. As I mentioned in the start, Coleridge was painted as one who expressed feelings of enemy, unworthiness, and incapacity, which persisted throughout a life of often compulsive dependency on others. In what I've read into this poem, I believe Coleridge possessed many endearing qualities, a light, noble heart, filled with forgiveness and friendship, yet he was placed under pressure. Back to the Poetry Foundation side, there's mention of how he resembled his father, who was a well-known, well-respected vicar, and that means, naturally, that he would be one himself. He was pressured into marrying his wife, who he ended up detesting. He endured financial pressure, which made him publish his work Kubla Khan in 1816. He experienced the love denied and failed friendships, most particularly with William Wordsworth, who, according to telegraph.com.uk, was his friend for 15 years, before Coleridge discovered that Wordsworth thought him a rotten drunkard who had been an absolute nuisance in his family. Yet, despite all of this, he wrote this poem in 1826, when he was 54. He still held in him a hope for truth, to say, I am flawed, yes, but I'm human, and no one is flawless. Yes, this is my light, my life, my love. I will love you the best I know how, but I will not let your lack of love break me. Our duty is to love ourselves first, and we need never change that to suit anyone's ideal, because we are each our own best friend. If we learn to love ourselves for every scrape, every scar, we will naturally love those around us. Yet we shouldn't take anyone's opinion to heart, because it is from there that we exude the most love. And what the world needs now and has always needed is love. Thank you.